Okay, well, it's just a little bit here after 10:30, at least according to my clock. So I think we'll kick off this morning. Welcome, everybody. We're super excited to have you join us today. We are going to talk a little bit about why community banks matter and really focus on funding your startup beyond VCs, angels, and other funding options. So before we dive into our panel, I just wanted to really kick us off with a few stats that I think are very promising for startups. SCORE did a survey prior to the pandemic, and the number of startups was actually up to 774,725 new startups in 2019, and that's up over 734,000 in 2018. Of course, then at the start of this year, we had the pandemic hit, but the good news is SCORE did another survey just to check in with all of the startups to see how people are doing, and we've got great news from them. What they found is that only 2.6% of startups have abandoned their startup since the pandemic hit, while 18.4% of startups have actually scaled up their businesses. And then we've got about 43.9% of startups that are really in that wait-to-see mode, but a lot of businesses are in that same mode as well. So what we are seeing, especially in the bank side, is that entrepreneurs are still really making that leap into driving business, taking advantage of opportunities, helping solve problems out there in the community. And although it might seem like on social media, a lot of these startups are getting funding from VCs or angel investors, the actual stats are that angel investors fund less than 1% of all startups, and venture capitalists actually fund less than that. And so, although it might seem like there's a lot of money that's out there fueling all these different new businesses and startups, that's not really the case. In fact, community banks only do about 60% of the funding of small and medium-sized business loans. So what we see is that people are either coming to a community bank to get a loan or turning to their friends and their family to get funded, doing a lot of bootstrapping themselves. And that's actually what we want to be talking about today, is how not to have to rely on your friends and family to fund your business. So what we're seeing so far in 2020 is that 2020 really is the year of community banking. We had the pandemic hit and then the PPP loans that came out shortly after that. And community banks as a whole really stepped up to support local businesses. There were a number of businesses that were banking with the bigger banks that just weren't able to get access to those PPP loans, and they turned to community banks like ours to help them. And so what we're really seeing is a resurgence in community banking, and we want to make sure that you're aware of how community banks really can help you and other startups like you. So with that, I want to welcome Michael Berling, who's our VP of Commercial Banking, and Sheryl Carlson, who's our VP of Treasury Management. And we're going to be talking to them today about how community banks can help. So with that, let me start with Michael. Michael, do you want to just do a quick introduction of who you are and your background?
Sure. Thanks, Megan. So Michael Berling recently came here to the bank, not new to business banking or startups in the least. My background is primarily in commercial lending and more specifically in SBA lending, really helping out borrowers achieve their dreams of financial success by obtaining SBA and conventional type financing loans for startups, acquisitions, and the like. That extends also to other opportunities down the line, like commercial real estate. So that's where my commercial and banking background came from, and where I'm headed here into 2020 and beyond.
Do you want to do a quick background on yourself as well?
Hello, sorry, I missed that. I'm Sheryl Carlson. I'm with Village Bank. I've been here for over a year. This is the second time doing the Twin Cities Startup Week, which is such an awesome program. So I'm so happy that all you guys are here watching. And I work on the consumer side, more of the consumer loans, the cash management side. I help your business figure out what is the right financial, the financial products that you guys may need to help move forward. So for example, when you go work with a big bank, a lot of times you go in and it's kind of a, you go in and there's your checking and your savings and this is what you're supposed to do. Where myself, Michael, Megan, we will sit down with you and we'll have a nice conversation with you to find out where you're heading, what you want, what your needs are, and where you're going. So that's my favorite part about my job is it's not just checking and savings, it's the financial side too. Is the SBA the right loan for you? Is it a home equity loan? Is it maybe doing a credit card for a year until we get you established? What we're looking for on the financials, what do we need for financials? So I try and make it as clear and easy as possible for you. And I'm really proud to say last year, we helped so many people from Twin Cities Startup Week, and we actually gained a lot of customers and clients and friends because of this. So I'm very happy to be back and very happy to talk to anyone and work with you. Even if it's not our job, we'll find the right person for you.
Thanks, Sheryl. So Michael, let me over to you for a second. And you just switched from being at a big bank to a community bank. Do you want to talk about why you did that and how that really helps entrepreneurs?
Yeah, sure. So was with a big bank for quite a number of years, and really, although there's nothing inherently wrong with it, I felt a sense of community and passion with the smaller and the medium-sized banks. I like the idea of being able to drive down Highway 65 here locally and see a project that I was exclusively a part of. When I was with a larger bank, it was primarily national type lending. So there was a lot of projects that I was a part of in the past that I never had an emotional connection with outside of it being transactional. What I really wanted and what I have here at Village Bank is to be a true partner, be someone that can be trusted, to be called on a daily basis. If there's ever any questions about how, a certain financial aspect will affect their business, I want to be the person that they can call on, just like their CPA, just like their attorney, and be that next person in line to help them out. So that was really where my focus was when it came to being at Village Bank. And when I was able to meet with our president here, Alicia, and Megan, you as well, I really got that sense of camaraderie and passion that small banks can really give to our community. And now I'm happy to be able to say that I have projects going on, in the Minneapolis. I can go down to Chanhassen and see something right here in Blaine. I'm moving to Blaine. So it's really nice that I can work, play, and grow with my children and also my friends here at Village to create something special. So that's why I made the move.
Keep muting us and unmuting, so there's a little bit of a delay. Sheryl, anything you want to add to that?
I agree with Michael. One of my favorite parts of being Village is we truly are a community bank, and it's so fun to get to know the customer and to get to watch their project from start to finish and to be a part of something, to watch people grow and to be their person, no matter what it is. And it doesn't matter if you're in Blaine or Minneapolis or Bloomington. We have customers all over the Twin Cities area, which is super awesome. In today's banking world, you don't have to walk in a bank. We'll come to you, we'll work with you. We've met people at the Minneapolis Library, we've met people in Bloomington, and it's super fun. A great example is I have a customer that I met last year at the Twin Cities Startup, and she's grown her business by triple, and I've got to be a part of it the whole way. So it's so fun being a part of that, and it's really nice that they can come to us and we can help them find the accountants or whatever you need. We love to be a part of it. So
for that. So let's actually start with treasury management and talk about what you're seeing with most of the entrepreneurs that you're working with, how they're bootstrapping and what you're doing to help them kind of transition from that to working with a community bank to make sure that all their taxes are set up right and accounts and everything like that.
So the first thing we do in the treasury management part is we get to know the customer. We'll meet you, we'll talk with you. You get to meet with me, I get to meet with you, and we get to figure out what you're looking for in your business, what your needs are. One of my favorite taglines that Village Bank has, we have Village Values. One of it is called Do the Right Thing. And that's my favorite part of this is when we meet with you and we talk with you, we make sure we're doing the right thing for you, because what might be right for you might not be right for the next guy. So super popular right now is ACH, which is called Automatic Clearinghouse. This is a way to make your money work faster for you. So this is where you can actually pull money from people's account, or you could pay people and you could hold the money in your account longer. We have the full array of products and services that you need for your accounts, and you don't even have to leave your office. So that's the nice part. And again, like, we'll come meet with you and walk through it. So if the SBA loan is the way we need to go with you, we'll connect you with Michael, and then we work from there. If a home equity loan, then we work that way. If you need to work with credit cards, we'll work with credit cards. We do what's called a remote deposit, where you can make deposits right from your office. We have mobile deposits where you can take pictures right from your phone. So for a small community bank, as people may look at us, we really have the whole array of products and services you need. It's really sitting down and meeting with you and talking with you to find out truly what works for you and what is the best way to help you grow and get to your next level.
Just tell the people that are listening today why you don't want to use your own credit cards and why you really should have a business account established.
Absolutely, especially for your tax purposes and for keeping things straight. If you run stuff through your personal account and now you're becoming your own business, to try and segregate the two is a lot of work for you. And to bring it to an accountant and work through that, you would have to pay someone to help you look through it. But you don't really want to use your own money on the business side. So you could figure out what your true expenses are. You could figure out what your profit and loss is. You can figure out, is this working? Is this not working? Where do I need to go? What's working for me in the business? And you really do want to keep it separate, strictly for the purpose of really for your own accounting, to find out, gosh, I keep saying this over and over, but you want to find out, is this business working for you? Is this profitable? Do I need a loan? Do I need to inject some of my own money? Do I need to go to the next level and do a business loan? What is my next step? And when you're combining with your personal and your business, it gets muddled and you're not really sure where you truly stand as a business. Does that make sense? I hope so.
Well, I think the other piece too that really plays into that is you start to establish that business credit, which is so key for when it's time to work with somebody like Michael on a loan standpoint. So Michael, let me throw it over to you and really talk. Can you talk to the audience about, once you've established that relationship with a community banker, why it's important to establish that relationship, and then how you really determine if people need a conventional loan versus a SBA loan?
Sure. Yeah. So I think, no matter what, if you have an idea for a startup business, or even if it's for an acquisition, and you don't know where necessarily to begin, obviously, most people turn to Google, right? But I would also very much encourage everyone to turn to their trusted partner. And we want to be that person for everybody. So realistically, I would say, you have this idea, you have a plan, or you at least have an outline of a plan. You can come to us right away as your community bank and reach out, throw the idea off of us, see what makes sense. I have the resources and the partners and the ability to get you on the right track of, okay, here's where you want to go. This is how you're going to need to see yourself there to the finish line. And that could be via, the projections and the business plan, everything that we have as far as tools available to our future customers to be able to utilize to get this loan. So when we look at it between a conventional and an SBA standpoint, it's really going to be dependent upon where the particular borrower is or the customer is at that particular stage in the process. If this truly is a brand new business opportunity, then yes, we'll probably leave. The SBA side allows us the flexibility to cover more of a collateral shortfall, so to speak, where there isn't so much actual specific assets to be pledged, or because of the risk of having less than 2 years time in business, where more of a conventional opportunity would fall into play. So if this is a brand new opportunity, a startup and a dream and a passion that you guys have, whether or not that's that independent restaurant that you have, or because you want to start a Wendy's yourself, feel free to come to us first and we can figure out what makes the most sense. If you are an established business, that's where we can absolutely look at commercial, conventional opportunities as well. We want to make sure that the world and Minnesota knows that Village Bank is out there and we have the ability to perform on all these different types of businesses and commercial loan products, whether or not that's somebody who's been leasing their building for the last 5 years that's looking to purchase their building, whether that's the fabrication company over in Shoreview, Minnesota, that's looking to buy a brand new piece of equipment. We can do it all, and we'd really love to help you out and grow that relationship. So I think from the standpoint of commercial, conventional, and SBA opportunities, it's all going to hinge on the particular customer. And between Sheryl and I, we'd love to be able to take that conversation in hand and see what we can make out of it and make sure it fits your needs.
So Michael, quick question for you. If you are interested in getting that SBA loan, and I know Sarah just posted some links to these templates, what do you need to come prepared to talk to a banker about?
I'm sorry, Megan, did you mention about SBA conventional opportunities or both?
Just either one. What do you need to come prepared with to talk to your banker?
Gotcha. Yeah, so, for me, I might be a little bit more unique. I don't necessarily believe that you need to come to me with anything specifically outside of your idea. That said, obviously, when it's time to actually get the loan specifically, you are going to have your financials available. So making sure that you do have 3 years of your personal taxes available is critical. Making sure that you have your W-2s for anybody who's going to be either A, partner, or B, potentially a spouse guarantor situation is definitely critical. If it's an SBA opportunity, making sure that you have your business plan and you have your checks and balances through the whole thing. The easiest way to kind of look at it is that SWOT analysis, that strength and weakness type analysis, opportunities and threats. That's a really good thing. I always look at your market analysis. Is this something that is a concept that has other competition, either locally or not necessarily locally, but something that you can look at and find out, hey, is this going to make sense maybe specifically here in Forest Lake, or is this going to make more sense to put it in Blaine based off of A, B, and C? You want to be able to look at your demographics. You want to understand your product. So really, when you are ready to move forward, it is critical to have your business plan in place for a startup or even an acquisition. You want to make sure that you have projections and you understand your numbers. The most important thing to me as your banker is making sure that you understand, and Sheryl alluded to this a little bit earlier, but your true expenses. So when you do start out and you have this credit card and you're starting to use it daily on the business side, you want to be sure that you're capturing what your true expenses on a month-to-month basis is, because nothing is going to stand in your way more than thinking that you're going to be at A, revenue figures, and your net operating income is going to be B. Come to find out that maybe utilities for this particular spot is drastically higher than what you anticipated it to be. So truthfully, knowing your numbers from A to Z is very important, and the projections play a key critical role in that. So really what we kind of narrow it down to, the fast version, is making sure you have all your personal tax financial information into play, making sure we have a business plan that speaks to the SWOT analysis, making sure that we have projections that are available. And then outside of that, just the passion to want to get something done. I get very excited when I get to speak with a lot of our customers and small business owners and prospective new business owners. I want to make this dream a reality. So absolutely come to me and come to Sheryl with any questions, and we can definitely find the right resources to make it happen for you.
Okay, so speaking of questions, Kurt in the audience asked a great question. What is the typical max loan amount for an SBA or conventional loan, and what are we seeing for interest rates right now?
Yeah, those are good questions. So on the SBA side, it's a little unique because generally when we think of a startup, we look at 7A opportunities mostly. That's going to really have dependent on a couple of variables, a max loan amount of roughly $5 million. Looking at the question here, kind of looking for appetite for pre-revenue startups. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how I'm kind of looking at these startups that we're talking about here. So really that's where, again, having your projections in line in 24 months to 36 months of projections that highlight specific revenue, where it comes from, expenses, where they come from, and line item narratives that can dictate exact specifics on how you arrive to your numbers for a projection. We can absolutely look at something like that. As far as rates are concerned, it really depends on term rate and structure when it comes to the interest rate. I can definitely tell you that right now on variable term rate options that the max SBA loan pricing is prime plus 2.75 or what would be right now 6%. That would be really kind of, I think, your typical range that you would see on a startup. That said, as a smaller community bank, we do have the flexibility to play with that number a little bit. We don't necessarily have to be at that maximum SBA rate of 6% that some other lenders are at. We can absolutely look at, depending on whether or not you want to maybe fix in that term for either a shorter period of time or maybe a mid-range period of time. We can be flexible. We can be flexible based off the loan amount, based off the risk, based off the collateral. There's a lot of things that kind of go into the rate. So typically, you know, if you have those types of, I guess, questions, this is where sitting down with myself, sitting down with Sheryl, and kind of understanding the full story of what the request is going to probably dictate a little bit what that ultimate interest rate would be.
You know, one of the other questions we hear a bit is, isn't getting an SBA loan really hard to do?
Yeah, so we definitely don't want to upplay the scary factor of the SBA that I think kind of goes around. It doesn't need to be there. You know, I've done hundreds of SBA loans myself specifically. There is an upfront paperwork load that needs to be completed, but I think having the right banking partner to help you out and not necessarily hold your hand, but guide you and give you the correct advice is really the distinguishing factor of going to a bank that doesn't primarily do SBA loans or understands them and is just kind of going back and forth and going through the motions, trying to get your deal to the finish line because they're kind of the middleman, so to speak. Here, we're a preferred lender of the SBA. We understand SBA loans. We have a lot of partners from myself and Sheryl and Tim and other people that hopefully you all will get a chance to meet and talk to someday that have a good passion for startups, have a good passion for just business and small business in general. We're going to be able to understand what pieces you need to get on a commercial real estate transaction versus a piece of equipment versus a startup that has no collateral versus an acquisition of that Subway that you found that's up for sale on Craigslist. So we're able to help you out every step of the way, no matter what you're looking for, no matter what type of transaction it is. And it doesn't need to be a scary process. Yes, there are a few extra pages on an SBA loan that you will have to fill out, but it's nothing daunting. We can make it very simple. And I'm always available to answer questions via my cell phone, email, what have you, to make sure that we can get you across the finish line, get this deal submitted to a credit analyst, and get it approved and get you making money.
All right, I'm going to turn this next question over to Sheryl. Sheryl, can you talk just a little bit about cash flow and how what you do on the treasury management side helps cash flow and how that's so important when it is time to go get a loan?
Yes. So when you talk about the treasury management side, what it really comes down to is meeting with the client, understanding what their needs are, and then opening the correct accounts and being able to separate the personal and the business. And then what we do is through our online banking even, it'll help you also segregate what are true expenses for, is it the electricity you're paying for? Is it mortgages you're paying for? So it's a really nice product that we offer too on our online banking. But when it comes down to cash flow, when you keep the personal and the business separate, when you go to purchase your equipment or whatever it is, whether it's on a credit card, whether it's on your checking account, what it comes down to be is when you go to talk to Michael, when it comes to the next step where you want to grow, when, like you say, you buy that Subway and you do it because you have the cash in your account, or maybe your mom or dad help you. And so you establish this checking account, you establish your savings account, you establish all of your different cash management products so you can watch how your money is coming and going, and you can truly understand your cash flow. When you go to talk to Michael, it's all right there. It isn't something you have to recreate. You already have that created. And what's nice about that is you can work with myself or Michael and say, I don't understand this, or I need help. How do I do this? How do I set this up? There's so many products and services out there to make your life so much easier, so that when you go to that next step and when you do grow, it's all right in front of you instead of recreating it.
Sheryl, what are some of the typical things that you see with new businesses that you're working with? What are some of their challenges?
I think that the biggest challenges that I've had that I've worked with people recently is honestly cash flow, making sure that they can hang on to their money as long as they can. And so that's where what's called ACH comes in. This is where they actually pay out their vendors. You can hang on to your money and then you pay out the vendors next day. So let's just say that you have $10,000 in your account and you're needing that for cash flow, and you know you're getting a really big deposit in tomorrow, but that bill is due the next day. What's really nice is you can hang on to that money in your account. You can use the ACH service as that money comes in and it goes next day. So instead of writing that check and the money leaving your account, and now you're kind of short for a couple days, the ACH helps you manage your cash flow. The other thing is too, is with Michael, they may have working line of credit. So where you can always attach that to your checking account, where when you do have some cash flow items, it can help you get through that little moment while that check is coming in. We also have, you could work with credit cards. Sometimes a startup business, they do need to use a credit card for a little while, but we put you in the right credit card and help you manage your credit card so that you're not using it strictly just for large purchases. That's when we would talk to Michael. So it's really sitting down, interviewing you work, and making sure that together that we set you up with the right products and services. It's giving you the scanner that we attach right to your computer, right in your office, so you can make a deposit from your desk and that money goes in your account right away. You don't have to mail the deposit. You don't have to bring it to the bank. It's as long as you deposit it before cutoff times, you have that instant credit of your money. So it's helping your cash flow a little bit quicker than the traditional old banking.
So speaking of credit cards, can you just talk about, like, again, why do you really need a business credit card versus a personal credit card, even if you dedicate a personal credit card to your business?
Again, it comes down to as your business grows, and if you're looking to expand, you keep that separate from your personal. It's hard to determine what's personal, what's business on credit card statements after a month or two of these statements passing. So it truly separates what is true business expenses and what is true personal expenses. So when you do decide to grow or you decide to move on to the next step, it's so much easier to take these statements and say, this is my cost of my product, this is the cost of my equipment. So it keeps it totally separate, and it does not commingle the funds. And it's a much nicer way to run your business. You become a true business then. You become your own business, yeah. And then when you go to Michael, it's so much easier to ask that loan.
Can I chime in on this one here really quick?
Can you talk quickly too, just about establishing business credit?
Is that Michael?
Take that one, how it's important to establish business credit.
Yeah, I can take that one. And really, I kind of want to just piggyback really quick off of what Sheryl was talking about on the credit credit card piece too, if you don't mind, just because I think outside of just the financial piece and understanding where you are and separating the church and state kind of segment from the personal and the business, I think there's also something to be said about a certain vanity of having a business credit card at that point. At this moment now, you have your business name on your business credit card that says who you are. If this is Berling Properties LLC and I'm at a restaurant and I'm taking out a couple of clients, this is almost a sponsorship of now your business. It also kind of breeds that next level of you've kind of made it. You've made the decision to do this. This is now your baby, so to speak, right? And this is another kind of way for you to advertise, so to speak. When you're at Home Depot, if you have a contracting business, you don't know who's at the other end of that cashier register, right? It could be a general contractor's spouse, or it could be another general contractor who's just doing something else. You never know who you're maybe connecting with on a day-to-day basis. And so I do think outside of just the obvious tax implications and understanding from a P&L standpoint, a profit and loss standpoint, your personal versus your business credit card, that you should also realize that you want the business credit card because this is now who you are. You're a business owner now, and you can show that, and you can, advertise again and market yourself to a higher extent. Now, going over to the business credit side of the equation, usually these business credit cards, they all attach to your specific TIN versus then your social security number. So what Sheryl was alluding to is now when you have this business credit card, when you have credit pull in the future, you're not necessarily going to see that business credit card or that credit associated to your social security number like what you would on a traditional personal consumer credit pull. And that does a couple things for you. Number one, it frees up your available credit from your personal side to your business side. But then number two, it helps grow the strength of the business from the TIN that's attached to, in this case, your new startup, so that when, as an example, you're that custom fabricating metal shop, when you decide that, hey, I've had a credit card, I've been purchasing these small $20,000, $30,000 pieces of equipment on and off for the last couple of years. Now it's time that I need to step it up, and I want to buy a brand new machine. I want to go to Productivity here in Minnesota and talk to Matt over there and get a brand new CNC machine. If you want to do that, it's a lot more difficult to do so if you don't already have the established business credit. If you don't already have that established paydex score from paying contractors and paying vendors and having it being paid off on that business credit card. So at this particular juncture with that business credit card, you can go to us and say, hey, we're looking now to buy this CNC machine. Can you help us out? And when we do everything else, a part of our analysis to get you that piece of loan, part of it is going to be able to see your business credit score and what that is, whether or not that's on the Dun & Bradstreet report or otherwise. We're going to be able to take that information, and it's going to go a long ways to getting you a loan at the better terms, rate, and structure that you want it to be at. So really getting that business credit card, it's a little bit of a tax implication, it's a little bit of a vanity and a sponsoring, but also it's going to really help you grow your business to where you want it to be in the future.
Thank you. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes left of the session. Does anybody have questions that they're just dying to know the answer to, maybe why you came to this session? If you do, please throw that in the chat section. Otherwise, until we see some more questions, I'm just going to throw it out to both Sheryl and Michael. So whoever wants to take this, what else do you think our entrepreneurs that are listening today should know?
I'll chime in just for a moment till we get some questions. But the one thing that what I find too is working with a community bank versus the larger big banks is we tend to personalize our meetings. So what's really nice is we get to know you as a person as well as a business. So that's a huge advantage you have with working with a community bank, whether it's Village Bank or another community bank. But sometimes those larger banks, you just become a number and you become a, they need to open so many accounts or loans or whatever. So what we do is we work with you and we find out what is the right answer, what is the right product, how do we help you grow, what are the next steps? And the best part is We get to be with you in the beginning, all the way through the middle, until you are just one big guy out there. So we're very, very happy to work with you like that.
Anything you want to add to that?
Sure. Yeah. No, I truly agree. I think community banking has a special place here in Minnesota, specifically, and everywhere, really, for that matter. But it's great to be able to have that personalized connection. And don't want to sit here and say that you don't necessarily have a personalized banker at another location. But truthfully, until you come to our village and you see what our values and what we stand for here, and you talk with Sheryl and I, you don't really fully truly appreciate it or understand probably the differences that we're trying to convey until you come and you're able to sit down and speak with us. You will get that personalized attention. You're going to get that consistent follow-up. I'm a little bit more unique where I'm probably going to be able to respond to you 24 hours of the day just because that's who I am, and that's not everyone, right? There are truthfully banker hours. I don't adhere to them. But I want to be there to help you out at any time of the day. If you're going to ask me a question, over the weekend, I'm going to have my phone on me. And if it's simple enough, I can respond to you. That's something that you're not always necessarily going to get somewhere else. And when it comes down to potentially purchases, or maybe you're very confused on a proposal offer, listen, at the end of the day, we're here to help people. We're here to see our community grow. We want to grow as a business ourselves too, but we understand that we need to see our community grow. And so if I can help anyone out by answering questions, even if they're not necessarily going to go with us, I just want to be able to make that connection, help you out, and see it to the finish line. And that's something where I can devote some extra, hours and minutes out of my day and my time to help you and help you make that happen. And that's maybe not something that you'd get somewhere else. But, with that being said, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to have the partners that I have with Sheryl and everyone else here and the whole team at Village. And hopefully we can see a few of you in the future and make something happen.
Thank you for that. So I think what both of you said could not have played out in a more true fashion than when the pandemic hit and the PPP loans came out. I mean, our entire village, just like every other bank out there, had people working around the clock to make sure that anybody who needed one of those loans could get access to one of those loans. And I think that's the thing that I've seen in my couple of years working in community banking is just the fact that we're really truly are partners, and everybody really cares about how do you help the businesses that you're working with get to that next level. And so if there's anything that you take out of this today, whether it's working with Village Bank or another community banks are there to fund businesses to help their communities grow. That's the whole purpose of it. I know in the notes section here, alluded to the fact that our bank was built by an entrepreneur. So he, the owner of this bank, is an entrepreneur. He has a ton of other businesses, but he was getting frustrated with his own banking options. And so he said, I'm starting my own bank. I want to make sure that if an entrepreneur has the right dream, has the right passion, that they've got the ability to get access to the capital to build their businesses. And we've really built this particular bank around that mission. So I'm not seeing any other questions right now. So if, Michael and Sheryl, if you've got a couple of parting words, we can wrap this up and let people get back to their day. But thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope that it was helpful. Sarah shared some links if you want to get some more information and templates to use. And it looks like she's putting contact information out there, but I will open it up to Sheryl and Michael for.
I want to thank everybody for coming to. This is actually such an amazing group that is part of this Twin Cities Startup Week. I'm sad that we can't meet in person because last year it was so fun staying after, talking with everybody, and really you guys empower us too. It's so fun. It's so fun meeting and talking with you guys. So we really do encourage you to either call myself, Megan, Michael, whoever, even if you just need to talk something through, we'll help you. We want to be here for you. So thank you so much for joining our group today.
Yeah, I'll just ditto that. It's I'm really excited here to help out anyone that has any questions here now or in the future. I appreciate the time that I was given here to sit around the table virtually. It's unique for me. It's different, but I'm sure it's different for all of us. But really appreciate everyone that took the time to check out our virtual hop-in meeting here today. So thank you.
All right. Well, with that, thank you everybody for attending, and seriously, please do reach out, even if you're not a customer and you just have a general question. Like Sheryl and Michael both said, we are here to help you.